All right, let me just briefly go over the rules of the candidates. I sent you an email, both of you, the rules. They changed a little bit. I've sort of gone over them for the last 15 minutes of the question and answer, the lead question and answer after, or during, before the summation. 5 minutes, opening statements. The questions are 2 minutes each, and 1 minute to reply. For each question. There's 7 and 8, depending upon time, 8 questions that I have. And then we'll have 5 minutes for summation. And then there's a 15-minute question and answer period. Any questions? You guys are, and you are Mr. Jostock.
Terry Jostock, yeah.
I think you must see me on camera last night.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you're a while.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
Okay,
I see you.
so you're the incumbent, all right? Okay. All right. So we're going to start this second forum. This is the road commission position. There's 1 seat open. We have the incumbent, Mr. Dale Duckert. Duckert. And the challenger, Terry Jostock. And I'm going to allow the incumbent to introduce himself with the 5-minute introduction, and then Mr. Jostock will follow. Okay.
Well, I am Dale Duckert. I am presently the road commissioner. There's one of 3. There's 3 in this county. Most counties are a board of 3 road commissioners. Some counties are appointed. This county is elected. I hear complaints from counties that are appointed all the time. So our people around here believe that the elected way is the better way. So anyway, I'm on my 3rd 6-year term right now, so I've been in the seat for 17 and a half years, and I have enjoyed doing what we do. We oversee policies, we oversee the expenditures of the road maintenance and the road building process that takes place here. There's been a lot of changes in 18 years, personnel changes, and the way we do business is there's now a dashboard that is required by the state to put everything that we do in front of the public and make it all 100% visible to anyone that wants to look it up. So that's much easier for people to do now. So we've just done a lot of things. I think our roads have improved a lot. The townships have gotten very involved with us. We work with the townships to help them decide what they need to do with the roads. We actually enhance some things that they do. That we have a ditching program and a brush mowing program that we have a match fund for. We put in $5,000 for each township for brush mowing, also for ditching, if they can match it, and that has gone very well. It's done a lot for us. So I'm here to serve the county, the best interest of the people of the whole county. We all live in one spot or another. I happen to be in Emily City, and that don't mean I'm just a road commissioner for Emily City or Elmont. We are a road commissioner for the whole county. So that's
okay.
To say.
Thank you, Mr. Jostock.
Yeah, I'm Terry Jostock, you know, and I got involved in politics in 2010. There were some issues going on in Mayfield Township, so I ran, and I felt I did a really good job. Got the board working together. We all worked together, had no trouble, no complaints, nothing. I handled complaints if we had them, or how to do the budgets. We did more paving in the roads in Mayfield Township when I was in office. Them 6 years more than it probably did in 10 years. And then I also went up to the contractor, the road commission there that paved Farnsworth Road there. That I seen when they put it down, it didn't look like it was hot enough, or it was too dry, or there was too much wrap in it. But we have the road commission, they got inspectors that's supposed to inspect that and watch that. That's why townships go through the road commission. So there's a little bit of protection on it from that way there. Road commission has a lot more pull with contractors than one township's going to have. So, but by that issue, we worked with them, and on to repave it at no cost to us, so. And then there was this lady that ran against me there, and she, I didn't think it was even gonna be a challenge, so I didn't even really put a lot of effort in it, if I was hands down, but when you run around and make a bunch of rumors and lies, people believe what they see on the internet, so. And then I used to do a lot of work for the road commission. I actually did roadside mowing and brush mowing for years and years. There's just, can't really get no help at anything anymore, so I kind of let that go, and now I feel now's my time, maybe I can be a road commissioner. Because I know a lot about the roads. I worked in the gravel pits for making asphalt and worked on a road building crew for 5 years. I know a lot about the roads and history, and the local farmer. We've been here for all our lives, and we're in the tractors. We see a lot of roads, we see a lot of ditches, because you're up in the tractor so high, and when you're on the road, you can see them. So, and I know we all need good roads, and we don't have enough money to go around. So, I have to do what we can do.
Okay. All right. Question number 1. Now, you have an advantage because you sat in on some of these questions. So these are not drain and road. The commissions are similar. So I want the questions are pretty self-explanatory. You've heard some, so I'm going to give it to you again. Explain your perception of the duties and responsibilities of the road commission. So I will start with. I'll start with Mr. Jostock.
Okay. Well, what was the question? It was
Okay. Explain your perception of the duties and responsibilities of the road commissioner.
Well, I think the road commissioner is probably responsible for overseeing the budget, overseeing accounts payable, too, just making sure that they're all in check, and just going through the bills and working on policies, new policies, old policies, and I don't really know what the road commissioner honestly does. Honestly, yeah. Until you've been in that position, nobody would know. I mean, but I know some of the things that they do, and they do 2 monthly meetings, or 4 monthly meetings. 4 monthly meetings. So, and I just...
Okay. Mr. Duckert, I'm sorry.
Well, we do set policies for some things that are unbelievable. There's just a whole lot of policies of what you can do with a private road and how they come into the county road systems and all. We review those many different kinds of things. Even drain ditch crossings, we have to review those and see how they affect. And as a drain ditch is reestablished, there's actually an assessment to the road commission from it. So we look over all the bills that come in and go through what we're going to do for our next year. And it's our responsibility to see that the money is spent wisely. The road commission cannot deficit borrow money. We only can spend the money that is given to us from the state gas tax money, the license fee money, and those kind of things. There has been some other monies from the state that came into our budget, but the possibilities of that coming in now, we won't have to oversee, because I think the COVID thing's going to take every extra cent that the county has. So we just have to be sure our budget stays within our budget, and if we have to adjust it downward, we do that. Or there have been years where we got close to the end of the year and we adjusted our budget upwards. So those are the kind of responsibilities that we do. Add a job or take a job off. We change our fiscal year so that our monies for winter road maintenance comes out first. We never knew how much to save for winter, because you don't know what the winter is going to throw at you. So we change our fiscal year, so we end our fiscal year with summer work. We can always not pave a stretch or something. I mean, not that we like to cancel jobs, but if you don't have the money, you have to do it. So, those are the kind of responsibilities that we do.
Any reply by you, Mr. Jostock?
No, that's pretty much kind of what I was thinking about, you know, but I thought, like on the tubes and stuff, I didn't know that was something that, I thought we had engineers to do that. They look at all that stuff, but I didn't know that, so that's something new I learned today, so.
Okay.
But
Mr. Duker?
Well, the engineers do the engineering of it. We have to decide, is that a job that we have the money to do? That's the portion of it that the road commission does.
All right, question number 2. This will be to Mr. Jostock first. Oh, no.
I went first last
Okay,
time.
so this will be to you. What do you see as the most pressing needs for infrastructure or capital improvement project in the county regarding a road project?
I think our county bridges are in very bad repair. We have a bridge testing program. Engineers go at least every other year and check all of the bridges in this county, and we have to many times adjust the weight limits on them, lower them. Sometimes they get so low that school buses can't go over them. And so therefore, we apply for the bridge fund monies and critical bridge monies through the state fund, which helps us finance these. The road commission could not finance these bridges without state and federal monies. So, but I think our bridges are very, very critical. I guess you can fall off a rough road, but if a bridge collapsed on your car or your truck, it would be catastrophic. So I think it's very critical. And there's a lot of bridges in this county, a lot of road waterways that we just talked about, and they all got bridges.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Jostock?
Well, I really understand the bridges, because we really notice them with our farm equipment, it's real important to the farmers, because the limits are getting so low, that you just hardly can't even get around some of them. But the cost of rebuilding bridges is just crazy cost, but no, they do need to look into.
Okay. All right. Let's see. 3, what is, this one will be to Mr. Jostock. What is your experience with preparing or authorizing budgets or accepting bids on proposed projects?
Well, like I said, I was the Mayfield Township Supervisor for 6 years, so I was in charge of the budget there, did the budget in there every year. We balance our budget every year. And what was the other part of that question?
Let's see. In authorizing budgets or accepting bids?
Okay. Accepting bids, well, I used to give out bids. I've never really accepted many bids. It's just the other way around, and I know there's policies they got on that and all that. And I know the bid procedure for how the road commission works.
Okay.
And
When you say you prepared bids,
I used to bid on grass mowing for the roadsides and the brush mowing for the roadsides and a little bit of equipment around. So I would turn them bids into them once a year. And then I went around the township. I did a lot of bids there south at the township.
Okay.
I worked with contracts and the bids there. I worked with the road commission when I was at the township. You know, that's one thing the road commissioners do a lot too, is work with the township supervisors and boards and stuff.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Duker?
Well, in the bid process, for instance, a bridge. In the bridge process, it is determined by an engineer what style of bridge you need, what the capacity of the water that goes under it. There's so many limits, at whether it's a bridge or whether it's a roadway. If you're going to improve it, you have to have the engineering. I'm not an engineer. We have a good idea of what we think we ought to see when the road is done, but the engineers will do that. So then we work with the engineers, we talk with them, and tell them what we want, and we have to stay within a budget. Our budget that we get is whatever monies we get for the year, and that's it. So we have to make sure we stay the budget for the winter, as I stated before, and so we have to stay within within the budget. Most of our bids that we do are prepared by our engineer, and surprisingly, in the last couple of years, many of the bids that come in on the final letting come in a little lower than the engineer's expectation. Once in a while you get surprised, but we don't. We have to stay within our budget. We have no means of making money. Any job that we do in the road commission, for instance, with a township, has to only be billed at our cost. We cannot put any profit into it. Just we can put our engineering cost into it, but we have to stay within our budget. So.
Mr. Jostock, any reply to that?
No, that's pretty much.
I've got a question for both of you regarding the bid process. Have you ever had a disagreement with the staff recommendation, engineer and so forth, over a bid where you felt it was too costly and you wanted to reduce it? As a commissioner, or did you consider that micromanagement?
We have said that bid is too high and we just turned the project down. I can't give you a specific one at the moment, but we have done that. We said it's just way beyond our cost. If it's something that needs to be done, we may have to look at it at a later date and try to save money up for it. That's all you can do.
How about you, Mr. Jostock? Have you ever had that situation?
No, not really, because I didn't work. You know, he's got some.
Well,
doing
as a
that kind of
township
work, and I
supervisor,
haven't.
well,
So
as a township supervisor, if somebody came in with a bid on a project,
No, I always handle our bids pretty good. We've never really had a problem with them at all. I just watched the bids when they did the work, and they seem to do good jobs for us.
all right.
I think to finalize that, I think most of the contractors that, whether it be township or the county works with, they know there's competition there, so they gotta kind of keep their bid fair. If a bid was, say, too high for a job, probably every bidder that did it was too high. You know, I mean, so it was, and sometimes there is a difference in the, you know, there could be on a $300,000 job there, dollar job, one man might be at $300,000, another one at $200,000. Well, we bid in the best interest of the county. You do the cheapest one with a man that you know that's going to do the job good. And then there's supervisors and inspectors on those jobs too. So, yeah.
Earlier in my opening statement, there was, like I was talking about Farmers Road. You know, I guess that was a little bit of issue I had, but it really wasn't an issue because we resolved it pretty easy.
Okay.
Because I was out there on site and I seen how dry it was, and
All right.
so
we've had
if you're on top of it, you can catch it.
All right, good. All right, question number 4. And I believe this is to the Incumbent. You'll start first. Do you plan to promote any changes in the operation of the road commission? Any suggestions to your commission?
We had lots of plans until our pandemic hit. We really feel that we're going to lose about $2 million out of our budget this year is our projection, from what we ourselves project and what we've read from the state. So therefore, we're going to have to cut back on some bids, some jobs that we wanted to do. I was really happy that we were getting more money and doing overlays on pavements, or some of the roads got so bad you had to grind them all up and start over. We call it grind and reshape and then repave them. And when we do that, we put the new road crossing culverts under them, whichever we need, in there too. So, but I mean, there's a lot of adjustments that's got to be made.
Okay. Mr. Jostock, any response?
Well, I really don't have any plans what I want to change. I just want to get in there and look around and kind of just get new eyes in there. I just think it's just good to have some new eyes in positions. So I can't say I'm going to make any plans.
Okay. All right, we will go to the question number 5 then. When managing public agencies, is it better to have more employees at a modest wage or a few employees at a wage high enough to attract quality applicants? So that question should go to
Me, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you know, you can't too many employees ain't good neither. I mean, you can't have too many employees where they're not knowing what they're doing, but you can't get anybody to work for like $14 an hour, because they're not gonna, like Joe said there, you know, where are you gonna find somebody who knows how to run a gravel truck, and knows how to run a backhoe and a dozer, that's gonna work for $20 an hour, they ain't even gonna work. So, no, I believe you need to pay good people and have good workers and happy work staff.
Okay.
Well, we are controlled very much by two labor unions. One is, what do I want to say, the people that drive the graders, drive the trucks, and then there's other people in a management, the foremen, the office employees are in management. So that labor unions control what we pay, so we don't have a whole lot of choice of whether we hire the best employee we can, and it is a very fair wage, so we get good employees. We have very good employees. We don't have very much trouble with finding good employees. We screen them well when we do hire them, and we have good employees. Our employees are asked to do things that some places they don't. For instance, a truck driver in a snowstorm goes way, way beyond the hours that a normal truck driver is even allowed to be on the road with his truck for the DOT thing, because they're essential, it's an emergency, and they have to be there. And we try to not let them go so many hours that they're going to fall asleep and have a wreck. We don't need that at all, but there's sometimes these boys put in a lot of hours. They're tough, they're good, and they get paid well. Of course, anytime that happens, they're all on overtime, and they do well. And a lot of our employees that we have enjoy, I think they enjoy the challenge of an emergency situation, such as a snowstorm. You know, they just seem to come to call and do their job.
Mr. Jostock.
Well, yeah, the road commission has some really good employees. I mean, I know a lot of them personally, and actually a couple of them wanted me to, ask me to run, so I decided to run. But we do have some good employees. You know, and just got to keep them happy. I mean, when people are happy building equipment, I mean, years ago they used to say Genesee County was way better on snow removal and everything. But for the last 10, 15 years, you'll see the difference driving down 69. Lapeer is better. They're doing a good job. So.
All right. Let's see. Question number 6. And this will go to Mr. Duckert. Explain the fundamental importance of the successful operation of the road commissioner in Lapeer County.
Well, our fundamental operations are conducted by our managers, our foremen, and actually all of our employees. And they all have to work together as a team. We are there to supervise what they do and help them out with new equipment and things like this that they need. But the fundamental operations, these people that are hired they're taking care of them. The road commissioner, we don't do the everyday thing that runs the road commission. We are there to do the budget. We are there to oversee the equipment needs that they have, make sure they have parts and not overspend. So those are the fundamental things that keep the road commission going, is just plain good health.
Mr. Jostock.
Well, like you said, you got to keep the road commission going. So I mean, I guess I really don't kind of know how to answer that one yet. You know, I don't know enough about that because, like I said, I'm new in I don't know everything.
Right.
Go on that.
All right. Any reply by you, Mr. Duckert?
No, I just I can't give our management team and our employees enough credit for the way many emergency things especially are handled. You know, you have the everyday little jobs that may not get done right. Terry talked about some gravel or some asphalt that wasn't quite right. Sometimes gravel on a road, for instance, it will meet state specs, but it really isn't the need that we need for our road. It may have too much sand, not enough stone, no clay in it, it won't pack, but it met the county, or it met the state specs. And so we can argue with those things, and but you need to keep on top of them. If you get something like that, we just don't buy that product again. We find something else, which gravel supply is getting very short in this county, very hard to get.
I'm going to throw something out to both of you, and go a little bit off the chart here a little bit. We have not talked about ASHTO guidelines, MDOT specs, and so forth. Could you address a little bit of the secondary road paving projects that we do here, where you do not expand the side path that ASHTA is recommending, 3 foot on either side of the road, and to accommodate longevity and strength and durability of the road to last longer economically, as opposed to the way we do it now with no shoulders and the gravel as the impact. And this has a bearing because both of you, I understand that both of you are farmers.
Yes.
You operate heavy farm equipment up and down these secondary roads, and the engineering specs of the state has indicated that the weights of the farm equipment is almost as bad as the weight of trucks with the double axle and so forth, and consequently running up and down these roads wears them out much faster, particularly if you don't have a 3 foot side path. Could you address? I'll ask Mr. Jostock first, and then Mr. Duckert can reply to that.
Well, in the past, I don't know if they did it last year, but in the past they've always used, they got like a disc that pulls the shoulders in, they call it pulling the shoulders. And most homeowners hate it, because it makes a mess for a little bit, but it gets a gravel rail back up to the asphalt. So you ain't got that drop down. Plus, that makes it safer, so if you're, you get off the edge of the road, you don't just shoot right in the ditch. I think what you're talking is you would like to have that asphalt, see about that being asphalt.
Asphalt.
That's good.
That's the recommendation of ASHTA, which is what I understand the road commission goes by, and I talked to Mr. Pearson, your director over there, and that's the recommended problem, but I can't, apparently it's a budget issue.
Right, it'd be
That's what you want.
it'd be quite expensive.
Very much so. If you was going to put 3 foot on each shoulder extra, that's 6 feet. Probably the total width of the road is, 22 feet. You're going to add probably 30% more to the cost of that road. Somewhat, I'm guessing. I don't know that exactly. What we've been doing is putting limestone on that shoulder, and it does hold up a little better.
Yeah.
But it's costly too. Gravel is cheaper than limestone. Limestone has to be packed in and so on, and it does help, but anytime you get wet, a car runs off a little bit, it ruts it out and so on. We did make a road right here, started at Emily City, Edna Road going out, and this does have the wide shoulders, and it's a bicycle path. The road commission is mandated to spend, I believe, 1% of their MTF, which is our tax money, gas tax money, on non-motorized trails. That road was a very good place to put that money. We had to use it up, or else we were going to be penalized. So we used it on Attica Road, widened those shoulders, and they are labeled bike paths. And that does come down the hill right to the Pollyant Trail, which is also a bike path.
Yeah.
So it tied it together. We just thought that was a wise place to use that money, get it used up. And I think I heard maybe you're a biker. So okay, well then, come and try our road.
Yeah.
In fact, you start at the west end, you can coast down the hill, it wouldn't feel much.
Mr. Jostock sees me all the time.
Right, yeah.
Do you have any reply to that, or?
No, I mean, other than, like you said, it would be a good deal, but I just don't think you could ever afford that, you know. But we actually, when I was the township supervisor, I think it was the first year, we actually tried a new program there on Davis Lake Road. You probably see how good not Davis Lake Road, Plum Creek Road. But we put a micro layer, or thin layer over it, which I learned this, but you gotta take your better roads to overlay it. And you're only putting, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking it's only like 3/4 of an inch thick. But I think it's made out of more raw material. It ain't as much recycled asphalt. Because that's held up great.
Well, it's the duration, it's a question. Being semi-prone to bike, I've been advocating this for 30-some years about road, and we made recommendations on, I did Route 1 of West Bloomfield's Trails Corridor, and I'm very much instrumental in the trail corridor. And I think your past mayor here, did an extension of Imlay City to the city limits, extended the extension off of 21, Old 21, right outside the city here. And they had a bike, they made an extended path on Inlay City Road, and then as you get into the city of Lapeer, they have an expanded bike path there. So that road will last probably 4 or 5 years longer, and so the cost expenditure is something I'd like to bring up to the road commission.
Yeah, and maybe the cost wouldn't be over. Maybe that's something that needs to be checked into, because if you figure the time you gotta put gravel there every 3 years, time you gotta have labor to pull that gravel, I don't know.
That shoulder being wider is much easier to, our trucks that we're using today have an extra snow wing that comes down on the side, which actually saves a whole, you do the work of 2 trucks with 1, but that would grade a lot better if they were all paved. But we'd like to get all of our roads up in shape before you do that. We got some that are so terrible, and those roads that are terrible, a lot of those roads are narrower, and when they're ground and redone, they're as much as 2 feet wider than the original road, so we do widen them.
All right. We're going to go on to question number 7. And I believe you said Mr. Jostock?
I did that one.
You did the last one? Okay. Explain the maintenance and/or infrastructure cost or fee structure associated with the road projects undertaken by the commission as it affects citizens, property owners, and governmental units, special assessments, ad valorem taxes, and so forth. For example, let me give you an example. I'm involved with Vista del Sol. I have a meeting with your road commission. We're doing a road project. Explain how that assessment process works. If we want to convert the road from dirt to pavement.
This is a private road?
This is a private road. We want to convert it to the county.
We have not done a road conversion from private to county for several years now. They used to, the subdivisions would come in and say, what do we have to do? And they would probe the base. There's so much gravel. You got about 6 inches of gravel on it, and we'll take it over. The trouble is, I don't agree with this process at all as it was happening, and maybe even some of the stuff now. Because after the road commission says, okay, we'll take this over, it is not a primary road. It's a township road. We just said, okay, yeah, we'll take it over, and then we tell the township they got to pay for it. Now, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, and the same thing with paving. We've had private roads that are paved, and they want to turn them over. Okay, the township took them because it was paved, or whether the road commission took them. Now they're broke up after 30 years, and then they got to do a special assessment to get enough money to redo that little private. It is county road now, but it's a dead end little street. All the benefits is those people. so then they have to go to a road assessment. And it is a complicated problem that nobody likes. So,
Yeah, when I was in Mayfield Township, that was where we had a lot of townships there, a lot of subdivisions that are bad, because we have a lot of paved roads in Mayfield Township, which was nice all the years, the supervisor getting them done, but now it's cost so much to maintain the asphalt roads. I don't know how they can really keep up with it. I mean, roads are only gonna last 10, 12 years,
Paved road.
paved roads, you know. and-
Unless it's dedicated to the county and the county takes over the maintenance. And then.
Well, the county's responsible for the maintenance on them roads anyways, from what I
the
understand.
snow plowing and the coal patch.
Potholes.
Coal patch.
Yeah,
But then after that, the township, it's gonna be repaved or anything, it's up to the township to fund that. And the townships don't have the money to do it. And the townships are spending a lot of money. For instance, 2 meetings ago, we okayed $1.8 million worth of road work from the townships alone. That's a lot of money that these townships are putting into our roads. And part of that was because of it's only $5,000 to do a ditching in your township, and you can only do so much, but they gotta match it. But a lot of this match money that the road commission puts in does help that. But they're getting their money through the state, I want to say equalization, but that isn't right. It's according to the population and how much tax money comes in. That money is divided between the state, the county road commission, and the townships for road maintenance. So there's another name that I'm not coming up with for that. The revenues are, maybe I'll come up with it.
we need Shane Hernandez here, the appropriations chair, to indicate on our chart how that funnels down through his committee. Mr. Jostock, any response to that?
On what part of it there?
Well,
You're talking about the assessments?
Yeah.
Well, I think I actually conducted a check on it with the people there. Actually, people in the townships there, they were okay with a special assessment to get their subdivisions repaid.
My understanding is the assessment would go to the citizens based on the apportionment of the land, the frontage on the road, and it's very costly. Do you prefer to see the roads asphalt, or would you prefer to see the residential roads dirt?
I would rather my residential roads asphalt.
Yeah.
I'm just used to asphalt. We have a lot of
There's
asphalt.
preference, everybody.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, gravel roads are just so hard to maintain.
Maintenance.
A rain for 3 days. You could have a perfect road in 3 days of rain, and it's just a total mess. And those graders can only get around to those roads every so often. They're on a rotation.
Especially the winters, the winter too, with snow on the gravel roads.
All right. That brings us to question number 8. Mr. Jostock, you'll go first on this. Explain why you think you are the best candidate for this position.
Well, I figured I'm the best candidate for it. Well, I'm pretty knowledgeable on building roads. I know the MDOT procedure. I know the testing of the gravel and the asphalt. I know how asphalt's made, and I used to run excavators. I know ditching a little bit, and I know the bid process, and I know what a board is responsible for. Certain things boards are responsible for, and I'd like to, give it a shot there. And I feel I'm real beneficial. I know all the roads in the area, and I just think we need some new eyes in there to look over some things. Just you get the same old people in there all the time, not old people, but same people in there all the time. It's just a new set of eyes keeps everybody correct. Just once they work together, they get working together, and you lose your.
Okay. Mr. Duckert.
Well, I work worked very well with the board. Our board has changed several people. Gary Hall was a road commissioner, and Jim Novak took his job, so he is a new face there. Les Nichols came on the last election, and he is a new face there. So we don't really have all the old faces, only myself. One person can only do so much. I have experience in road building also. I worked with the local 324, the Road Builders Union, for 5 years. I loved the job, but the jobs were too far from home, and so I bought a sawmill business and made that quite successful. For 22 years I've had that going, and then I farm also. So I have business experience, I have the road building experience, and now I have the experience of being on the board for 17 and a half years. I guess one thing that tells me we're not doing too bad a job is that we very seldom have any public come to our meetings, and if they do, I do say there's as many people come with a thank you for doing a good job as there is with a complaint. Most people that do have a complaint when they come to the meeting, once they're told why the situation is the way it is, they understand and they go home quite happy. So I think I'm doing a good job, and I'd like to stay there. And because of my age, this will probably be the last term I run. But like I said, I've been on 17 and a half years. It's far longer than I ever thought I would be when I started this job. So I enjoy it. It's been good, and I really would like the votes to stay on here in August. So would appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to ask a bonus question to everyone, because we have a little bit of time here. This is to you specifically for the road. Explain the status of the millage proposal being reviewed and discussed by a citizens group, which was scheduled to be presented before our board before the pandemic, and how roads will be undertaken considering the financial loss of revenue in the state, where I project your losses will be greater than $3 billion rather than $2 billion from the state's general fund due to the COVID-19 pandemic and 14 executive order. So if you could explain that. There was a citizens group, I understand, that's been discussing the millage that was going to be presented. So
there was, first of all, I'll say I don't so much anymore. For a few years I rode motorcycle quite a lot, and to ride that on Sunday afternoons, we always went north. We went into Sand Lake County and Huron County. They have had a road millage for a long, long time. Bay County has too. All their side roads, many of them are paved, and they are, I mean, as we travel up through there today in my sawmill business, you see, thanks for the millage, and they got a new overlay on their asphalt, and their roads are nice, and it takes a long, long time to build that. It's a one mill, but now the millage that was talked about, and we've backed off of that now because we don't know what this epidemic is going to do with our economy. The cities and the townships would all get a pretty substantial share of that millage, which, you know, it's all going to go into roads. That's what we're about. We don't need to be the person that holds the purse. If that road money can come to the townships, if it can come to the villages and the cities and improve theirs, it's for the good of all, and that's what we wanted. Now, I don't know what the thoughts are of this. I don't even know who the committee is, to be right honest. The committee that's looking at this millage. Myself, I would vote for it, because I know what the roads look like north of here. And those roads up there, the sugar beet trucks in the Bay County, and those, unbelievable, the trucks that hauling roads, and them roads are in good shape. Mm-hmm. You know, they do have heavy loads on them. They got, and it's farm trucks, and it's big equipment, but they got thick layer asphalt's been put on for years and years. Millage does help roads.
Mr. Jostock.
Well, I believe with a millage, like the first one that went around there, if that probably would have got voted in if the money would be maybe staying in the township, because my biggest fear of that was, okay, they get all the money from there, it comes from all Mayfield Township, where there's a lot of people. Well, then that money's not spent in that township. It can be spent anywhere. Where now, I guess they're working on where they'll, you know, it stays in that area, which I agree, that's what it needs to be. Some people are the ones that pay that on it, they're the ones that need to be going in their area where they work, drive most. So.
Okay. With that, we're going to open it up for a 15-minute session of question and answers. Anybody have a question of our candidates?
I have one.
Yes.
Mr. Duckert, you said that you are possibly projecting a $2 million shortfall to your budget. If that does happen, where do you begin with the cuts?
We have already backed off on accepting bids. We had bids out like early, about the time that this epidemic or pandemic hit. We were accepting bids. We have the bids in, but we have not said, okay, we're going to do them. We don't know what money we got, so we can't do that until we know what we got. So it's a process of you kind of got to wait and see what you got before you can do the jobs. We know we're going to have a certain amount. We were probably up $1 million in our expectations anyway prior to this. So if we're back off $2 million, you know, we're only a $1 million difference there. I mean, I don't know if that's a good way to look at it or not. You're still $2 million short from where you wanted to be for the year. But it's something we're going to just have to go day by day or week by week and see what we got that we think we can spend. We've already backed off a couple jobs, I know that for sure. And others we have not accepted, so that's the only way we can do it.
How big of the overall budget is $2 million? How big of it is?
Our overall budget's about $18 million this year with our projected, so we'd be down to $16 million. In 2007, we were down at about $10 million. So that we do, well, people started driving more, the economy was good, so therefore our MTF, which is our tax money from the gasoline, went up. It was a boost from license plates, but I can't tell you what that was. I don't know how much of that was. There wasn't a boost from that. And the state, just out of the general fund, threw some money at the roads here in the last year or two, which I don't expect any of that to happen. So, yeah, we're just going to have to watch our budget. That's all we can do.
I'd like to ask you a question. Now, wouldn't there be other ways to get in there to save money and cut costs, or rather than just cut doing work? Did we ever think about not purchase some equipment now, or maybe when they
we haven't got any new equipment coming at the moment. We do have some coming, but it was bought a year ago. So, yes, and we may not put any new stuff on other than what's already bought, you know, or already appropriated. So,
Your budget has to be approved by the county commission.
I believe it's the same way as the drain commissioner. Only our personal fund is the money that pays the commissioners.
The administrator office.
Yes.
So then you're generated tax dollars directly from state funds and
And then we handle that budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The big difference between the road commission and the drain commission is we have no ability to assess the tax.
Your revenue is generated through the state.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I'd like to make a comment.
Certainly.
As a past road commissioner in Whitdale, when I came in, they were on a fiscal budget, and we as a board switched it to a fall budget so that you could weather the winter before your budget was over with, and then deal with the ups or downs by more or less work through the summer. It improved how our budget was able to accomplish something without possibly getting buried with a winter that was bad.
I think I mentioned that
Yeah,
earlier.
you did mention that. I've got what projects right now do you understand are being held off that were supposed to be undertaken?
You know, if there was probably 18 or 20 different projects. I, off the top of my head, can't tell you what that is. I don't know which.
That's on the website, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that was part of the DOT's dashboard. What do they call it? It's not. It's open to the public. There's a name, I can't think of it. But that's part of the procedure, the dashboard. What we're doing is now all of our minutes and everything are online or on the internet now, so that you can see what's happening and what the budget is, and then those kind of things, and the jobs. So, yeah.
Not all the minutes, the meeting of the whole you guys have, you're not posting them on there.
Well, I don't
Because I
know.
asked her about that at the last meeting
I don't
there.
know if it. Well, we
And she
haven't.
says she's got it, but they don't. put it
Yeah,
on
we
the
haven't
website.
been having since the pandemic. We've been not having the committee the whole meeting. Sometimes I question the good of it. It isn't that it's costly or anything, but yeah, we review things, and we can maybe ask more questions and more detail than the public even cares about in the meetings. But those questions, if there's a question when the public comes to a meeting, if they got a question about anything, it's all right there. We can answer whatever they need to know.
Okay.
Yeah, Myra.
I don't know if this is really something that you guys, that's your guys' responsibility or not, but I'm kind of wondering about the train tracks around town, like example down Saginaw by the high school. You know, there's one track that's well taken care of and you
Well,
can
they just
drive
fixed
over it,
that.
and the second track, it kills your car. So you have to almost come to a complete stop and go over it. Why is that they
Well,
fixed one track but not the second?
We worked with the railroad company, we just got that fixed.
Okay.
Actually, because we own the Lapeer Grain, me and Brother Ken. And
Okay.
we just worked with a project where they actually paid their own money for it. The city did the work, so they got the money, so it helped out the city too, working together like that.
Is that a private investment?
No, it's not really a private railroad. See, the thing it's just being that spur went to our grain bins down there.
Right.
For the,
So
not ours.
so that is your responsibility?
That was our responsibility. Now we're not. We told them to take it out, we don't even need it there.
Oh, so you took it out?
Yeah.
Most railroad crossings are not maintained by the county. They're maintained by the railroad. And there's one just east of town here on Dornan Road. It is absolutely terrible. You could probably stick your foot down in beside the track.
Always try to make it easy for the residents. Because if you make it hard, then a lot of times they just give up. And they're like, oh, we ain't gonna go through all that hassle to look that up or look that, watch that meeting. But when it's easy, like you said, you're gonna sit down, you click on it anytime you want, just go in there and internet, you can do a lot of things. So, I mean, I think we should be throwing it all out there, let everybody know what's going on out there. So they know, because nobody knows, like me, I can't answer a lot of questions Dale answers because he's in there and does it. I don't have that information. Some of that information is harder to get than you think it is. And I did it when I was running for supervisor. Went around the assessments and they were so messed up and it was so hard to get anything. Why does government want to make things hard for residents to get? I don't. I want to make it easy.
I don't know, we've never had a proposal to put, I guess you would call it a webcam, is that the
Oh yeah,
problem?
it's just a simple, literally, it's a $35, $40 camera, wired into whoever's, whoever's taking notes and posting all the minutes for the meetings. It's a super easy thing. Anyway, like I said, it's just an easy thing, and I would recommend it for townships. It's just easy. If you put it out there, if you don't put it out there, I mean, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you put an announcement out there and people don't read it, it costs you money to put it in the paper or whatever, you know, but, you know, people say, well, we didn't see it, or we don't get that paper or whatever. But if it's out there, everybody's got one of these. Everybody's got a cell phone.
Well, all of our daily operations are online, or you call in and or you can get on the webpage and do it too. It tells what roads may be blocked on a day because a bridge is out or whatever's happening. So that stuff is online and is available through your phone. So it we don't have a picture of the meetings, but everything else is online.
But like them bids, I would like to also put online there so you guys can see the bids that come in for like they do put on there like stone and equipment and stuff like that. But I also think it'd be a good practice to put on the bids from these jobs, big jobs that we're doing. I mean, it ain't that hard. It's really easy, especially with technology, especially now with this COVID deal. I think things are going to be different. I don't know why we wouldn't want that on there so people could look at it anytime.
I think in the duration I've been on the road commission, that I think we've only not taken the lowest bid one or maybe two times, and it was because it was a contractor that we didn't think was even able to finish the job. He didn't have the ability to do the job. And perhaps a smaller job they could have, but not what they were bidding. I can't remember any particulars in that, but we have done that.
See, I don't think it's necessarily you gotta absolutely must take the lowest bid, because I believe the lowest, sometimes the lowest bid, the guy might not know what he's doing.
Well, for example, the Farnsworth project, that's a major project over there. I was talking to the township treasurer on that issue. They were careful to get a guarantee or a warranty on that project. So they repaid it twice. And guess what though? You go north of Davis Lake Road, Daly Road, and it's all
junk again.
It's junk again.
It's junk again.
Now, here's the problem. I've only lived in the township 8 years, and it's been done twice in 8 years, which means substandard materials or improper workmanship. So that's an issue.
Right. And there was a inspector on the job, but I mean, I don't know why they didn't see it, but I mean, it looked like it went down dry. I agree with you. And actually, I was a supervisor, so I got a lot of heat over that time. They said, you haven't paved our road ever, and you've paved your road 2 years, 2 times in 2 years. I said, yeah, the second time we didn't pave it for it.
I think sometimes the top service isn't as important as what's underneath.
Right.
And the frost, the water is terrible in our roads. Water is probably the biggest problem, and we don't have underground drainage under our roads. Some roads, some places, they put drain tile like they put in farm fields.
Right.
They get the water up. Trouble is, they'll go on their ditches, and then the neighbors plant I got a neighbor who planted willow trees in the ditch. Well, that plugged it up in 3 years. So what good did the tile do? You know, and then, well, you can't cut my tree. Well, it isn't really his tree, but we don't cut it. So no, water in our underground structure is the reason that many of our roads go to pieces as quickly as they do.
Does the current road condition consider the seaming of the center of the road when they lay, because you don't lay it all in one area. You have one section here and one section here. If you seam it with a sealant, do you do that in Lapeer?
If your underground substructure of that road is not stable, it's still going to crack. It's still going to come apart.
But the sealant does help.
Well, there is
Keeps
some
water.
powders now they use. It is pretty good. I had it in some notes somewhere in some of our minutes. I was complaining about actually I-69. It had a crack in the middle of the road that would engulf a motorcycle tire. Now, can you imagine riding down that road and you're going to cross it and your motorcycle tire falls in a crack this deep and you can't steer? You're going to have a very serious accident. And so that was immediately put on to the state so they did fill the crack.
Yeah.
That was a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Michigan is rated one of the worst road structures in the entire country. It is very sad, and I think it has to do with the way it's financed and through the constitutional endeavors, and then you have an executive governor execute by the writing of a pen, $3 billion tax assessment, which incurs only to benefit major highway systems in the Metro Detroit area or Kent County area and so forth, and doesn't do anything but to give any money back to the rural communities here in Lapeer County, you know, and Tuscola County and all the other adjoining small areas. So I know you guys are, it's a burden.
I got an opinion about why our roads are like they are, and it is our subsoils. When that earthquake come through here, it tumbled.
Yeah.
And it dropped 400 feet of solid clay here, and then it dropped a bunch of sand. Now, there's clay all the way around this sand, and we got a water bowl of sand with clay all over it. It's full of water, soaks full. And in the wintertime, that water freezes, and it goes up and down as it thaws, and it breaks up our roads. I think it's our subsoils that are so much different than other states, and they vary so quickly.
You're right, because my poles and my granite raised 3 feet.
I kind of think it's the 11 axles on these trucks.
See, there's a lot, yeah.
I don't know. Do we want 11 axles on a truck, or do we want 3 trucks with 2 axles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I know what
getting
it's going to trade 11 axles all together. They just slide them axles and, oh man, it just, but the cost of everything would cost so much to have it trucked if we didn't have them. So, I mean, but I still believe that's their number one thing in our roads, that and coal.
All right, we are going to now just give you a 5-minute summation of why you think you're the, the candidate of choice, or whatever you want to say. So who went first?
Well, we did
that already.
Oh, you did?
We don't want to bore them.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
All right, well then, is there, anybody else have anything to say then? We are done then. And thank you very, very much. Broadcast live, and it will be linked through our webpage. So
This is something that I was like, oh wow, I never did this before, but it's been good, it's been enjoyable, thank you.
Thank you very much for attending. We appreciate it. And good luck with that.
Yep, thank you. And you're running for trustee, I heard.
I'm running for trustee.
Okay, I heard
Mr.
that.
Engelman has vacated his seat, and 2 seats are open. Listen, I can help you.
What's that?
That helps you.
That needs to come.
You pass the word.
Right. That happens, it needs to come. And that's kind of making things so hard in there. When you're trying to get serious, when you're having it hard, like I said.
You can watch it, it was
They just get frustrated.
Fair Country Party Facebook page. It was live streamed, the video there. It's also on our YouTube channel. We've got a Party YouTube channel.